with the Holy Father.
God in all his great glory and wisdom. My ordination was originally supposed to be the weekend of the 4th of July. But Bishop Ricky couldn't get a flight that wouldn't break the bank, so we decided to change the date. That offered the opportunity to choose the feast day of St. Ignatius of Loyola. It also offered the opportunity to celebrate my first Mass of Thanksgiving here with you today during what we call the Bread of Life Discord. I'm not sure if you noticed, but last week and today we read from the Gospel of John. We're in year B, and you might remember that's the year of Mark. We've been reading from Mark most Sundays in ordinary time, but we generally hear from John during the holiday seasons. But this is one of those times during ordinary time when we divert from the Gospel of Mark and hear from John. We'll continue with next week as well. Bishop Scott and others have talked about Ignatian spirituality in the past. In his early years, he grew up in Spain and became a knight within the Spanish army against the French. During a battle, he was hit with a cannonball which damaged both of his legs. During his recovery, and after multiple corrections of his surgeries, he read from the Book of Christ and read on the life of the saints. He was a small man, much like me. He stood just 5'2". After his recovery, he spent much time in Jerusalem in pilgrimage and developed a book, Spiritual Exercises. He later went on to study another 12 years towards his priesthood, of which he spent time in Barcelona, Paris, Bologna, and Venice. Later, he was ordained in Italy and became the founder of the Jesuit order. He became known for what's known as Ignatian spirituality, which includes what you may remember through small group meetings, the examen. Additionally, with Ignatian contemplation, he outlines gospel contemplation. In this method, we use guided imagery to contemplate the different perspectives of other participants within the gospel passages. So, in the spirit of St. Ignatius today, let's look at the gospel today. The masses who were fed last week by the loaves and fish, they woke from their slumber in their relaxed state. And when they woke, they couldn't find Jesus. Jesus tells them, "You were looking for me," basically, "but you were looking for food that perishes. You should be looking for food that endures in eternal life." Basically telling them that they were looking for him for all the wrong reasons. They then asked Jesus, "Well, what sign can you do for us to believe in you?" Feeding the masses and having leftovers apparently wasn't enough. They still don't believe. They then referenced the manna that their ancestors received from Moses, the bread from heaven. We also heard the reference to the manna in the first reading today. It also said in the first reading that the Israelites had seen the manna. They did not know what it was. They said, "What is it?" In fact, in Hebrew, the actual translation of the word manna is not bread like you may think. It's actually, what is it? Jesus tells the crowd today that their ancestors did not receive the manna from Moses. The true bread from heaven comes from his Father. Jesus says, "I am the bread of life." Jesus came down from heaven from God as our eternal life-giving food. Like Ignatius, put yourself in these passages. What do you believe? Are you nourished by the Eucharist? Have you been nourished by the Eucharist? How have you been nourished by the Eucharist? Will that nourishment sustain you? Or will you wake up like the crowd, hungry? On this Mass of Thanksgiving, I feel full. Full of all the love from you. Thankful for your support. I am thankful for your talents and the gifts that you bring to me and to the church. I'm not a historian. I'm not a theologian. We have other priests of those gifts, thank God. I will make mistakes, but I hope that I offer you other gifts to you in my service. As mentioned yesterday, I will always be deacon first and will be of service to you, but in more profound way. In the second reading today, St. Paul tells the Ephesians to put away your old self, be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and put on your new self. Thank you for my new self. And please pray.
Amen.